Hey y'all, it's Rick here again from diecast. I come back to you to make a quick little video. It's going to be a directional how-to video on spark plug wires like I did on this truck here. I was going to do a video on how to do spark plug wires on an engine like this one, like I did on this one, but I quickly realized that these things make me cuss too much to do a video on them, so I didn't want to put out a video where I'm cussing a Hot Wheel the whole time because the wire don't want to do right. But I'm going to give you some direction on how to do it, and if you have patience, then you can get it done, no problem. I have patience. For the most part, I got it done, so I must have some sort of patience. But what you'll need, what I use, is speaker wire. And let me see if I can get it to focus. And it's just speaker wire for like hooking up car audio or in-home audio system, and you can get it on a roll of like 50 foot for $6. Less than that probably. I think a 100-foot roll is $6. But as you can see, it's got little wires in there. And you just skin that back, and there's a bunch of strands of little small wire like this. Let me get it where you can see it. Oh, I dropped it. You see that little small piece of wire there? That's a piece that I've cut off. You don't need very long strands. A piece this length right here can do 2, maybe 3 of the spark plug wires, and these wires do come out silver because they're aluminum. So what I use is paint marker, and I just hold it in a pair of tweezers and paint it whatever color I want. The one I used on the truck is red, but a good pair of tweezers, very fine tip tweezers, is needed. It's very much needed. And then some super glue. I prefer the Gorilla Glue gel type. That way you can squeeze a little bit up in the tip and have it bulging out, and you take them tweezers and just dab either end in there, and then stick it into place. And a very good tip for you is this one's already bent a little bit, but these wires are very easy to bend and maneuver. And what you want to do is kind of bend them to shape before you put them on the engine. Let me see if I got an engine here so I can sort of kind of show you. Here, I got one right here, and this is a Muscle Machines engine, so it's really large. But a lot of times the distributor is on the rear of the motor. That's where I always run my plug wires to, because a lot of times the diecast companies don't put the distributor detail in, so you don't know exactly where to go with it. And in the front, it would just look like a cluster of wires together, which a lot of times that's what it really is. But just for a little bit more concealment and a cleaner look, I run the plug wires to the back of the engine where the distributor would be. Some engines have the distributor on the front, but not all of them. But as you can see here, I've kind of bent that wire up, and I would do a lot better shaping, if I was actually putting this on the engine. But what you do is you put your dab of super glue on either end of it, and you take your tweezers and kind of get it into place. Like this would probably be a front plug wire. You run it up to the front, and then on the back there, it's already bent to where it's going to be at the back. And you put your glue on there, and you touch it down. And sometimes when you put it on there, you can let loose of it, and it'll want to fall over. So you just hold it up for a second till that glue catches. But what I do a lot of times too is before, I'll bend it and kind of get an idea of where I want it to be before I let paint it, or not necessarily paint it, but before I put the glue on it and put it in place. I don't just paint it and bend it and stick it there. It's a lot more to it than that. It's not much more, but you get the idea of the bend you want, and then you cut it to length. And then and pro tip for you, I'm not no pro, but we're going to call it a pro tip, is if you're doing it from the rear, of the engine forward, start at the furthest back spark plug wire. It'd be the shortest spark plug wire, and you put it in place first, and then the next one up, and then the next one up, and then the longest one that runs all the way to the front of the engine. Simply because once you get that long one to the front of the engine, it's kind of hard to weave around in behind another spark plug wire. It's easier just to layer them. The shortest one would be on the bottom, and then the one that's going to the front would come over that short one to the next spot, and then the one that's all the way to the front would be last because it'd come over all three of the previous ones. That way you're just layering it on instead of putting the longest one on there and then having to come in and try to get up under it to get to your spot where your plug wire is going to connect. But as y'all can see, it turned out pretty good. The ones I did before, I've done a couple with spark plug wires before, and what I was using was the silver beaded wire. But this stuff does not hold shape. You can't bend it. It's basically the same stuff that I make my whip antennas out of. Same stuff that they use for the fishing leaders that I make my whip antennas out of. And it's so flexible you can bend it and let go of it and it goes right back to its original shape. It's more of a cable instead of a wire. So I found that this speaker wire works much better because whatever shape you bend it to, it'll hold its shape for you. So you're not fighting tension whenever you go to glue it down and you have to hold it for longer so that glue will hold, because of the tension that the wires want to spring back. Like I said, the speaker wire, it holds its shape so it doesn't have any tension on it. Wherever you bend it, it stays. So if you put your glue on it, you don't have to worry about your glue holding and setting up against tension. So it makes it a lot easier. But I don't know if you can see, I got my spark plug wires down in there with my button head screws, because whenever you strip that down, you get so many strands at once. I didn't want to throw them away. I'll just use them for later. So a very short section of wire, you can make spark plug wires for these die-cast vehicles for multiple vehicles. And like I said, it only took me about 3 strands to make all 8 of these plug wires. About 3 or 4 strands to make all 8 of those plug wires. So like I said, I hope this video was informational and helpful to you. Like I said, I wanted to make a video actually showing me doing the spark plug wires on this truck, but like I said, it had me cussing and mumbling and calling it all kind of names under my breath, just because it gets very tedious with these small details, and then having to switch between. I bought a pack of tweezers, 4 different kind, and had to figure out which ones worked the best for me. And before I figured out which ones worked the best for me, they were working against me, and it made it even more frustrating. So it's best to have a set of smooth jaw. Like the inside of these are very smooth. Because let me see if I can get the other ones that I have. The other ones that I have are, as you can see, these have kind of ridges in them, like some grip in there. And the plug wires, or that speaker wire, is so small, whenever you go to let it go, it get caught in that groove there, and it wouldn't want to let go. And when you moved it, it wouldn't be set up, and then pull the plug wire back off, and then you'd have to put more glue on it and go back into it again. So it's best to have a set like this with smooth jaw, so once you let go of the wire, you can ease back and it doesn't catch and pull the wire back off. So that's another tip for you. Might make it a little less frustrating for you. Once I figured, got the right set of tweezers, it wasn't so bad. It's just takes a little bit of time of bending it, getting it cut to length, and bending it, and make sure and everything is right before you put the glue on it and set it there. Because once you put the glue on and set it there, if it ain't right, you're gonna have to pull it back off and redo everything, and it's more frustrating. But I think this one turned out great. I'm glad this custom is complete. I am actually working on another drag truck, so I don't know if the hood will be off of that one showing plug wires and stuff or not, but we'll see. I haven't thought that far ahead. I've just got into the modification and fabrication process of it to get it where the ride height and the stance is right. So we'll figure out the engine when I get that far. But I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and like I said, I hope it was informational. I've had a bunch of people ask me what I use for the wires and how I made them and all that stuff. So hopefully this video is informational and helpful to you. I hope you use it. If you use this tip, let me know. Send me some pictures or tag me in pictures on Instagram of this technique if you use it. I look forward to seeing your work, and as always, have a good day.